Hi, it's Kane Hodder, Jason from Friday the 13th. You're watching Slash and Cast. Keep watching, or I'll kill you and your whole family.
What's going on, horror fans? Welcome to another episode of Slash and Cast. My name is Riley, that's Nick, and today we have our first legitimate review. It's the second review we're doing. Well, third review we're doing. Second movie review, first one released. I guess it's a mess. We've shot so many.
That's
of
right.
these.
That's right.
This is the first movie we've seen in theaters this year. That is absolutely true. And this movie is called Split. This was on our top 10 anticipated movies, and that is because M. Night Shyamalan dropping some bombs, and the trailer was cool. It was a really creative idea. This idea that a guy with 23, technically 24 different personalities kidnaps 3 girls, and he keeps coming in and out of this room that he's got them locked up in, and, you know, different personalities.
Really well done trailer. It got us hooked. We needed to go see it.
Right, true. We follow, right off the bat, you do jump right into things, which is nice. We follow Casey Cook here, and you get the vibe right away that she's the weird girl in school, right? That's pretty much exactly what they're going with, that she's weird. She has to put on this party, which is where the 2 other nice girls, Claire and Marcia, is where we see them, all right? And then they decide to give her a ride home to help her out because her dad is obviously not in the picture anymore. So they give her a ride home, and then that's when Kevin Crumb comes into it, played by James McAvoy. Now, James McAvoy, fantastic.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, he is definitely the highlight of the movie by far.
Yeah, award winning.
Yeah, I'd say.
100%. If he does not win an award for this, I will be very surprised. It felt like it was different actors portraying these different personalities. They were just so different from one another.
Right. Yeah, it's so spot on. It's absolutely perfect. I mean, you go from the terrifying, creepy Dennis, okay, which is technically the main antagonist throughout the film. Mm-hmm. But then he bounces around to this 9-year-old Hedwig. And, this is like, technically it's supposed to be a comedic relief having Hedwig in it. I will say within our audience that we saw in theaters, there were parts people were laughing that just were not funny.
People were laughing through this whole movie, especially when this Hedwig character, which I get was the comic relief, but if anything, it was more creepy. And and again, this is the first time you see him, and then you're starting to realize, oh, he does have these multiple personalities. Now he's a child, and he's talking to these girls, and the 2 other girls don't know what's going on, but Casey is understanding and talking to him, saying his name, Hedwig, and just talking with him. Right,
and I think it's very dark when that begins, and it's really sad because he does it so well, and it's like you legitimately feel like a little boy's heart was just broken in like that second there.
But everybody in the theater laughed at that, so.
Yeah, I just don't get how. I don't know. It doesn't. There was nothing really funny about it until there's a certain scene. It's very clear where he's like dancing around, and that's when it's supposed to be funny. That was not one of those points.
Right.
Now, as for Casey Cook, who was played by Anya Taylor-Joy, I mean, overall, okay performance.
Yeah, I'd say she was the second best performance in this.
Right.
But James McAvoy takes it by a landslide.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the problems. Like, no one else is even close.
Yeah.
Anya Taylor-Joy, she did okay, but really her character is a little weak as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course, I mean, she is smart. She is obviously a strong character, as ballsy and willing to do things, to stay alive. And she has this clear background of hunting from her father, and things going wrong with her uncle. It's just she plays it off well. It's just the character. I don't know. There's some times where the character seems a bit obnoxious. I don't know how to really say it.
And there's even points where something happens with her character, and you go, oh, why did she just do that? Then we go on with the movie. Stuff is other happening. Then they flash back. they flash back too late, in my opinion. They flash back and you're like, oh, 20 minutes ago, that's why she did that. Instead of right after where it really should have been. Which, it developed the character more in the end, but I didn't like that about this movie.
Right, yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, I don't know, just Casey's okay, Anya's okay, but when we come back to Claire and Marcia, who are played by Haley Lu Richardson and Jessica Sula, they're a bit of a mess and pretty awful.
Yeah.
Their characters are not likable by any means. That could be intentional. However, even the acting itself was really bad.
Right.
But I mean, they're side characters, they're throwaway characters, to be fair. And after about the first half an hour, even though I'm not saying like they die or anything, but they're gone, right? They're just completely off screen for a good hour before we actually get a reference back to them. But really not much acting talent there at this point, I'd say.
Not at all.
But what's interesting, though, we come back, we have this character that we never really see in the trailers, that is Dr. Fletcher, who is Kevin's actual doctor. And it's interesting because she takes a different approach to the multiple personality disorder, and it's a very difficult one as well. So she feels as if they can go have an everyday life without having to live with someone else or anything like that. Now, especially with Kevin taking that approach, it just seems like no one else would really take that risk,
Right. She went on did a Skype to a panel to a university, and she would say something, and even the other people on the panel who have that background were kind of like, really?
Yeah.
Really? Her neighbor, I think it was, or something, was like, do you really believe everything they say? Do you really believe in this disorder? And she's like, yes, I do. And she's like, well, okay, then.
Yeah, her big thing is that each personality has like completely different abilities, right? And that's where the whole beast thing comes into play, is that the body is able to transform itself entirely from personality to personality.
Yeah, she said on the quote, she said one of the personalities can be a Russian deadlifter who can lift 500 pounds, and the next person is not and can't lift anything.
Right.
And even in this movie, one of the personalities was a diabetic and had to take insulin, but none of the other ones did.
Right.
And I thought that was actually pretty cool just at that point. But then when we actually get to the scene with the Beast, it was completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that was not by her means anymore. That was just writing, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the Beast, but going back to Dr. Fletcher, she's well aware of what the personality, she's well aware of the power that these personalities can take, and she's also well aware of his personalities in general, knowing very well that Dennis is another personality from Kevin, has the ability to be extremely dangerous. Right? And she knows he's having issues, okay, because of his urgent emails that he keeps sending every day, sometimes multiple times a day. And yet she never really says, oh, maybe I should go check out what's going on. It just seems really odd to me. And she's a really stupid character, and to that degree, all right? Now, let's go ahead and jump into that ending, including that Beast itself. So there's basically two different endings to this movie. The first one, I can't even begin to explain how it happened. So we get the Beast is another personality. He becomes this huge monster, and he's got veiny, huge chest.
He's got a blue tone. He even looks like he grew taller.
Yeah,
and that's what she made when she was on that Skype panel, and they were like, oh, okay. And then, and even us in the audience were like, oh, okay, he'll grow, he'll get stronger. And then he did, and that's when it kind of lost me a little bit, and lost a lot of reviews I've seen out there.
Right, yeah, that's where you begin to push it a little too far. Now, I understand this is a very Shyamalan type of thing to do.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's just not, like, the way it actually ends itself. We get past the Beast. Okay, fine. Except the crawling on walls part. That's ridiculous.
Just the ending part when he's got her trapped in the cage. Casey trapped in the back of the cage. She's got a shotgun. She's shooting him. And he's taking it. He takes 3 shots, I think.
Yeah, and he a knife snaps against his chest.
Yeah. And he's pulling open the bars. And then he sees her stomach has scars on it. She was a victim of sexual abuse and physical abuse by her uncle in her past, and he was abused, and that's where the personality disorders come from. And he saw those scars and said, "You're not pure. You've been abused too. See ya." Gone.
You're right. I don't know. It just doesn't. And then you figure, like, the cops come, they find her, and there's a moment where I'm like, oh, she is one of the multiple personalities. She made all this up, and I was like, that's kind of a stupid twist, but I actually would have liked it better.
We were expecting a twist.
Right.
That really did not feel like a twist to me in that ending part, because I did hear there were 2 twists, and I'm like, okay, what was the first twist after the movie? What was the first twist? Was that the first twist? Was she the one with the most personalities? Because it ran in her family, I think they were alluding to.
Right.
But then I feel like they kind of cut that concept.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
yeah, exactly. And really, the only twist, we find out they were in a zoo the whole time, which also doesn't make sense because Dr. Fletcher went to the location.
And,
right?
Yeah, finally went to his house, met him outside the gate to his house, and was like, I thought I'd stop by. He invites her in. Did she not notice it was the zoo?
Yeah, did she walk into the zoo? It really just is. I don't understand how that really made any sense. But yeah, she's in the cop car. She gets away, right? Then we do get the best scene in the movie at this point, with James McAvoy literally going between each of his personalities, in one shot. Just it's panning back and forth between the mirror and him.
He's cleaning his wounds, and it goes to Hedwig saying, "Oh, that hurts," and then it's going to Dennis like, "Oh, this is just the beginning," stuff like that, and you just see it right in front of your face. Amazing,
right?
That's
fantastic.
The award winning right there.
Exactly, yeah, fantastic. Now we get a little bit of credits, and then we come back to another scene, and this is where things kind of fall off for me. Now I get. A lot of people are praising this movie for this scene in general.
A lot of people, exactly.
And because it is absolutely a direct reference to the huge Shyamalan hit Unbreakable. Okay, we get that.
It is in the same universe.
Yes.
That was the second twist we were talking about.
Right.
And so we're sitting in the theater, and we see, it goes down the bar, and we see this character say an iconic line, and everybody in the theater is like, "Oh, da 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 da." We walk out and we're like, "Was that Bruce Willis?"
Yeah.
Nobody in our theater got the reference that it was to Unbreakable. No one in our theater. Movie buffs, sure, they probably figured it out as soon as they saw Bruce Willis.
Right.
But even then, it wasn't like, "Hey, we're in the same universe." It was just like one line, Mr. Glass.
Yeah, he references Mr. Glass.
And so then you go back deep in your mind and say, "Oh, that's from the movie Unbreakable with Bruce Willis."
Yeah, this entire movie in general was a subplot in the movie Unbreakable. This was what Unbreakable originally was.
Yeah, the original script for Unbreakable. Instead of Elijah bumping into the orange suit man, he bumped into one of Kevin's personalities, and then takes him back to his lair and saves the girls. That's what Shyamalan said in an interview. Kevin was meant to be in Unbreakable in an early draft. And then how many years has Shyamalan been waiting to drop this?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I get it. Cool. Really cool reference to a fantastic movie. But when the best part of the movie is supposedly this twist, right? And this is what's being praised. And the fact that you have to go into it knowing knowledge of a movie from so many years ago, that just doesn't seem right to me, especially with this PG-13 rating sitting on it. You tell me 13-year-olds are just sitting around watching Unbreakable. I don't know. It's something that you can miss so easily, and that's a problem because it's the most important thing that happens in the movie.
And it wasn't a bad movie in itself. And all these other reviews that I see are like, it was 10 times better once I saw the last 5 seconds of the movie.
Right, exactly. That's what I think is a problem. I think if you throw out that ending, it's just an average to mediocre movie.
Right. And personally, when you add that ending, it was pretty ballsy to put that, in front of the credits. Maybe an after credit scene, where it alludes to the same universe would have been fine. That as a standalone movie was okay and would have succeeded. But when you get people like us who had to think about it, we thought about it for 10 minutes. Like, who was that? What was that ending scene? We had to Google it and figure out what that ending scene meant.
Right. And first of all, it didn't look like Bruce Willis at first.
No.
It took me a second to figure out it was even Bruce Willis.
Yeah, I don't see how that makes the movie better.
Right. Because I haven't seen Unbreakable in so many years. And then I wasn't sitting there thinking, I'm thinking about every other Shyamalan movie to date except for like Unbreakable. That's the only one that didn't hit me.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, it's just, I just don't think it's fair to judge this movie off that scene alone.
Right.
Especially, I don't even know how to I don't even know how I actually feel about it. It hurts me. Split all around, it's doing fantastic. It's definitely getting quite a bit of praise at a 7.6 on IMDb and at 76%. Certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Perfectly even there on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes. Split, January release. Let's compare it to a January release. It's doing way better than it should be.
Right.
I think it's interesting. A lot of people think it's the best movie he's done since Signs. I'd say so.
Yeah. A lot of people said that about The Village, which was not very good in my opinion.
The Visit?
Or The Visit, yeah. Sorry. It was not very good in my opinion.
Right. The Visit's, the thing is, Shyamalan's done so much bad since Signs that movies like this.
Now it's a hit or miss.
Yeah, exactly.
I do think he's kind of coming back to his roots for Signs, Sixth Sense. I think he's starting to come back to those roots with these last couple films he's made.
Yeah, let's just hope it keeps heading there.
Right.
All right, for Split, out of 5 crazy personalities, what are we thinking?
I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. You just can't put the best part of the movie as the last 15 seconds of it and expect it to change your whole outlook on the movie.
Right. I'm with you. I'm sitting at a 3 out of 5 as well. Split. Now I'm not saying it bad. 6 out of 10 is not a bad review for a movie. And it's an average movie. It's an average movie with a great reference to a way better movie. And I just don't think it's fair to jump my rating up to anywhere. I think 7 or 8 out of 10 is just really just too much for Split.
Right. We start out with Unbreakable. Now we go to Split. Are we getting a sequel called Shattered? Maybe.
I don't think so.
Do you think there will be a Unbreakable sequel with James McAvoy, Kevin Crumb?
Based on the money Split's going to make, there's a good chance. And the fact that Shyamalan, blockbuster-wise, has had 2 successful movies in a row, I think they'd be willing to take the risk and throw that on to Shyamalan. There's a chance that we see it. I'm willing to check it out because Split was good, and Unbreakable is fantastic. So let's see what happens in the future. On high hopes for Shyamalan though, and if you haven't seen Split, it's worth checking out. But seriously, man, kind of first of all, make sure you've seen Unbreakable before you go. Make sure you know what you're talking about, and then just don't think about the twist endings at the end. Just kind of don't let it get you going crazy. With all that being said, though, that'll be it from us. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. And this week is a special week, so we've had 3 videos come out. So make sure you check out our series of Unfortunate Events review and our huge news podcast that came out on Monday. And make sure you go to our extras channel, youtube.com/RJProductionExtras. There you can find the home of the NWM Project, our other podcast that covers movies, television, and video games of all genres, not just horror. Make sure you go check out our Facebook at facebook.com/RJLProductions. We post everything there, along with our Twitter at twitter.com/RJL_productions. And if you're a big fan, want to keep up to date on everything, make sure you go to rjlproductions.net. There you can join our email notification list. It's as simple as typing your email in and clicking Notify Me. Then you can email every time we post a video or post something to our website. It's as simple as that, though. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.